Well, he said, opening his textbook. I guess we should get started. This was right after everything happened, and I was in a silent phase. Words weren't coming to me well. In fact, I had trouble even recognizing them sometimes. Entire sentences seeming like they were another language, or backwards, as my eyes moved across them. Just printing my own name on the top of a page a few days previously. I'd second-guessed the letters and their order, not even sure of that anymore. So, of course, Macbeth had totally mystified me. I'd spent the entire weekend struggling with the antiquated language and weird names of the characters, unable to even figure out the most basic aspects of the story. I opened my book, staring down at the lines of dialogue. Had I but died an hour before this chance, I had lived a blessed time, for from this instant, there's nothing serious in mortality. All is but toys. Nope, I thought. Nothing. Lucky for me, Jason, who was not about to leave his grade in someone else's hands, was used to taking control of group work. So he opened his notebook to a clean page, pulled out a pen, and uncapped it. First, he said to me, let's just get down the basic themes of the play. Then we can figure out what to write about. I nodded. All around us I could hear our classmates chattering, the tired voice of our English teacher, Mr. Sonnenberg, telling us again to please settle down. Jason skipped down a few lines on his page. Murder, I watched him write. His handwriting was clean, block style, and he moved across the page quickly. Power, marriage, revenge, prophecy, politics. It seemed like he could go on forever. But then he stopped and looked at me. What else? He asked. I glanced back down at my book, as if somehow the words there would suddenly form together into something coherent. I could feel Jason looking at me, not unkindly, just waiting for me to contribute. I said finally, then stopped, the words sticking. I swallowed, then started over. I don't understand it, actually. I was sure, hearing this, he'd shoot me the same look he'd given Amy Richmond. But Jason surprised me, putting down his pen. Which part? Any of it, I said, and when he didn't roll his eyes, as I'd been expecting, I added, I mean, I know there's a murder plot, and I know there's an invasion, but the rest? I don't know, it's totally confusing. Look, he said, picking up his pen again, it's not as complicated as you think. The key to really understanding is to start with a prophecy about what's going to happen. See here. He started flipping pages in his book, still talking, and pointed out a passage to me. Then he read it aloud, and as his finger moved across the words, it was like he changed them. Magic. And suddenly, they made sense. And I felt comfort. Finally. All I'd wanted for so long was for someone to explain everything that had happened to me in this same way, to label it neatly on a page. This leads to this, leads to this. I knew deep down it was more complicated than that, but watching Jason, I was hopeful. He took the mess that was Macbeth and fixed it. And I had to wonder if he might, in some small way, be able to do the same for me. So I moved myself closer to him. And I'd been there ever since. Now he zipped up his laptop case and put it on the bed with the rest of his stuff. Okay, he said, taking one last glance around the room. Let's go. His mom and dad were already in their Volvo when we came outside. Mr. Talbot got out, opened the trunk, and he and Jason took a few minutes getting everything situated. As I got in the back seat and put on my seatbelt, Mrs. Talbot turned around and smiled at me. She was a botanist, her husband a chemist, both of them professors. They were so scholarly that every time I saw either of them without a book in their hands, they looked weird to me, as if they were missing their noses or their